All right, we are back to a Match Higher Living YouTube channel, and I have another beautiful, wonderful, extraordinary guest. All right, you want to know her name? Yes, her name is Dr. Afiya Mbilishaka. She is a clinical psychologist. I was going to say clinical therapist, a clinical psychologist, a natural hairstylist, and the author of PsychoHairapy. Welcome, 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 Dr. Afiya.
Thank you for having me. And you said my name perfectly, and I feel the positive vibes already. So I know this conversation is going to be amazing.
I am so in agreement with that. Yes. So for everyone who watched the video with St. Clair with my beautiful hair, 101 natural hair stories from the sisterhood. This is how I came across Dr. Afiya, because she was the one that gave a brief history about our hair. So this is why you are here today. I reached out to you to say, like, thank you for the work you do. Thank you for everything that you're doing. I wanted to make some different connections, and which we will still do. But I was like, invite her. And you said yes. So I appreciate that. So this is going to be a fun interview. It's going to be a very informative interview, because I'm going to start off with, when I first read PsychoHairapy, I was just like, what is that? So I want to start off the interview with that. Can you share with people why you or how you created this movement called PsychoHairapy, and just explain to us what that is? Because I want you to introduce that to everyone. The world needs to know.
Okay. Well, psychotherapy is using hair as an entry point into mental health services. So since I'm a clinical psychologist and a hairstylist, I basically married my favorite passions together, and recognize that actually through hair, we can do some deep healing work. And so also identifying stylists and barbers in particular as natural helpers and healers too. And so to really lean into that relationship between hair care professional and client, to see that as therapeutic as well.
It's almost like you embody a doctor, or she wasn't a doctor, but Madam C.J. Walker, because she created something where we all are looking back towards what she's done. So like the entryway, I appreciate that you brought the conversation to the Black and Brown community, because hair is something that we all deal with, or have dealt with, or don't want to deal with. And it's just one of those things. So what would you say to the person? Sometimes, therapy could be a taboo conversation. So what would you say to people who say, well, why would that be something that's important, talking about mental health in our hair? What would you say to people who have that thought process?
Well, it's interesting because I've had to actually answer that question before, since sometimes people don't always get it, especially if they're outside of the Black or Brown community.
Okay.
But really thinking about how oftentimes people feel more comfortable talking about their hair than their mental health. And we know that things that we don't talk out, we act out. And so that's a famous thing that lots of therapists say, in terms of it comes out in other forms. And if we're actually able to articulate it with someone that we trust, that maybe see every other week or once a month, it's an opportunity to engage in deeper reflection, get support, get feedback, problem solve, again, with people who you actually know and care about, and who care about you. So that's that special space. It's already happening. It is already happening, but just thinking about more evidence-based approaches and theories to be able to be more structured in the approach.
That's so true too, because low key and honestly, unofficially, I think our therapeutic connections with our hairstylists, we've done that throughout the years. Like whether someone was actually considering themselves or not, but you're sitting in the chair, depending on what you're doing, for a long period of time, or the process is a long period of time. So that's where a lot of people connected. And I think for the historical context, it was something that we have to go to that particular spot in order to be cared for in our hair. Like we're not going to be able to just go to hair clips or just walk into any salon and say, can you assist me? So that's powerful that you bridge the gap and that you give language to people to be able to say, like, no, they both are important. And I love that. And kudos for you to be able to merge your two passions. Like, I'm so blessed that you are here right now. So yeah.
Thank you. I'm still soaking in the Madam CJ Walker compliment, because the intensity of her work and how people misunderstand how complex her story is. So I just already am receiving all the positive vibes.
Yes,
right
as you should, because you're right, because it is such a complex story. And then someone just recently, well, I was listening to another interview, not with hair, but they attributed her to being the first woman millionaire, not just first Black woman. It was the author from We Should All Be Millionaires. So
yeah,
yes, Rachel Rogers. Yes,
I love that book.
I do too. And just like you said, the complexity. I don't know if you saw the documentary on Netflix.
I did, and I gave a whole critique of it. The real historical facts were so much better than that. I'm sorry to critique it.
Understood.
Because she at the time of her death in the early 1900s, Madam C.J. Walker employed over 100,000 Black women. Like, this is a huge deal. Even Oprah doesn't do that, or Kamala Harris or Michelle Obama. They haven't been able to achieve what Madam C.J. Walker achieved 100 years ago. So I just always like to give her praise and honor.
Understood. But you know what? Maybe you can give voice to what that work was all about in what you're doing now, because again, you have even services that we're going to get to in just a little bit, but I can see the embodiment, and I don't say it in a flattery term, even for you to be able to understand the more complex conversation that hasn't gone along with Dr. I'm gonna call her Doctor.
Yeah,
Yes, she's an honorary doctor, Dr. CJ Walker, because she did so much for the conversation, for the narrative, and for the historical context for women all over, especially Black women. So no. Stand in your place. So I'm going to read this part because it's taken from My Beautiful Black Hair. You offered a wonderful brief history, and you stated this, and it falls in line with what you're saying. The truth of my beautiful Black hair is that natural hair is not ugly or messy or hard to manage. And the confidence that a Black woman has around her hair empowers both herself and generations to come. And I'm going to read that again one more time, because I think what has resonated with us so many times throughout the year is the exact opposite. So for you putting language to that, and it was a healing sentence and activation that I'm going to say again. The truth about my beautiful Black hair is that natural hair is not ugly or messy or hard to manage. Natural hair and the confidence that a Black woman has around her hair empowers both herself and generations to come. So can you share why this empowerment is so important for Black women to embrace?
This is a wonderful question. I definitely believe that the path to true beauty is having strong roots and recognizing that when we have a greater understanding of where we come from and whose we are, that this gives us a greater connection. Yes. There are 1 billion Black people on this planet, at least.
Yeah.
And so it's sad that we feel like we have to alter who we are to be able to fit in when we're not a minority. And so I think that happens when we think about long, straight hair, oftentimes being the ideal beauty, but that's a lie. It's a lie. And so to be able to confront that lie and how that will have a huge impact on each generation that comes. I know for my mother growing up, for me and my mother never let me get a chemical relaxer. Now, of course, I was upset. I'm like, how could you not? I never had one my whole life. I'm like, how could you do that to me? She had one. My sister had one. But to me, she said, no, you're not going to get it. And so how that almost like changed my trajectory.
For sure.
In terms of then even the line of work that I'm in. And now my mom and sister are both natural, but just even her thought and even naming me an African name and all of these things connected me to something much greater. So I just think of it in that way, in terms of the power in numbers, the power in understanding how beautiful we are, the power in recognizing the lies that we've been told by media or history books, and to really disrupt and confront that is healing.
For sure, for sure. Now, I can imagine, like you said, it wasn't cool when you weren't able to get a relaxer.
No, this was during like a Leah swoop. I wanted all the SWV. Like I could not have it when I wanted. That was in. And so to recognize how much trends influence what we think is beautiful. Everybody wants to look beautiful. I think that's fine. Everybody.
Yes.
But what beauty is can change and shift.
Yes.
And so recognizing that who is setting the trend for what's beautiful. Is it someone within our community, or is it a capitalist who says
exactly?
So
now, did your mom tell you why she didn't allow you to get a perm or a relaxer?
She said you don't need one.
Wow.
Because I thought I needed, like she just would say, like I said, it's a need. I have to have this.
For sure. No, yes.
It's not a need.
Because it's messy, it's unruly, I can't take care of it. Yes, all of those things that subconsciously it's been ingrained in us. Like I have finer hair and I will always get super because it's so unmanageable. It was just like, it's just nappy. It's just like you have a fine grade of hair. Understanding now, but to your point, like I just had one filter to say that it's not pretty. It's ugly. We need to make it something else. Yeah. So yes, that empowerment to say how I heard a gentleman say this. He said, why don't you like the way that your hair grows out of your head? Like,
right.
Just wear it that way.
I always like to say, even if you do get a chemical relaxer, and a lot of times people didn't have a choice, right? Their parents actually forced them to have it. But I always say Africa comes back every 4, 6, or 8 weeks. Africa's gonna come back.
The roots do not lie, like you said. The roots. I love it. I love it. Okay, so I'm gonna change a little bit, and then I'm gonna sit in your chair. And I know this is not a therapy session, but I am going to sit in your chair, and I'm going to say, okay, so what would you say to me? Like I'm just talking to you on like different things that I've missed opportunities. I haven't gone to events. Just talking about like, depending on what my hair was like, I turned down invitations, relationships, like, because I didn't think my hair was at this place. So I'm just talking to you like genuinely to say like, yeah, hair has been such a big issue for me. I don't really like my hair, but I have seen so much of how my hair has impacted my life. Like, what would you say to someone? Because what I'm seeing in your work, you're giving language. Like before I put these two together, I was just like, yeah, there are times where I remember I was supposed to go to a wedding and I was doing my hair. I never finished it, so I missed the wedding. Or not wanting to go to an event because my hair wasn't done, or knowing that I wasn't going to be able to have my hair done in time. But like those conversations I never had with anybody. It was just something I just kept to myself. And it's just like my hair, I didn't realize how much it impacted other areas, or my hair, I didn't have good hair, so this person wouldn't like me, or I couldn't wear this hairstyle. So like, again, this is not a therapy session, but at the same time, I think for the general narrative or the larger narrative, a lot of people have these internal dialogue conversations and we never say it out loud. What would you say to the person who's experienced any or even more about their hair?
One, I'm sorry you've had to go through that. It's completely unfair and undeserving. Another thing I would want to be curious about is who taught you, as Malcolm X said, not me, but who taught you to hate your hair?
Yeah.
And so recognizing that this is something that you weren't born with, but were conditioned to go through, and what could possibly be the benefit of you feeling down about yourself to these systems of oppression, right?
Yeah.
It was a way to control your behavior. In psychology, we define it as the scientific study of behavior and mental processes.
Okay.
And so recognizing that there are 4 goals for psychology. And one of the goals are actually about how to control behavior and thoughts and feelings.
Okay.
And so I'm just sitting here and thinking about that, because you recognize how powerful hair is, that it's been controlled and made you feel bad about yourself because it didn't fit within the system. It was a way to suppress your greatness. And so imagining how to confront that, how to recognize it's not true, because there's something in psychology too called cognitive distortions.
Yes.
So cognitive distortions are basically the way that our brains trick ourselves and having twisted thoughts to perpetuate anxiety or depression. And so that there can be certain black or white thinking or catastrophizing or different like ways that we process information that's actually not true, but continues to make us feel bad. And so confronting that thought process can actually make you feel better, because there's a huge connection between our thoughts and our feelings and our behaviors. Right. So if we can confront, again, I'm being very explicit, the lie.
Yes.
Then we can feel better. Like imagine that you've been lied to your whole life about something and you find out, wait, that's not true. The relief that comes. And so I'm hoping that can happen with hair as well.
I agree. And honestly, even in your response, for you to pause, I think that's what we need to hear and to have, because you pause to acknowledge, like, I am so sorry, as opposed to, well, why did that happen? It's like, no, that your feelings, our feelings, my feeling, it really was connected with that thought. And I think even listening to you, I felt like a healing process. You know what I mean? Because it was like, no, this is valid. And that control that has been a lie for so long, like when you dismantle the lie, there's a passage that says truth sets free. It's not always a easy freedom, but that truth does set free and takes away that weight of a lie. So thank you for saying it that way and bringing in your clinical studies. So I don't want to be cognitively distorted. Changing the narrative. Okay. So one thing I'm already registered for, depending on when you're watching this, August the 9th, you have, let me get the name of the workshop, How to Take the Heartache Out of Hair Loss, on Tuesday, August the 9th. I'm already registered for that. Yes, I'm excited. So if somebody's watching this afterwards, I don't know if there will be a replay for this one, or can you tell other events, services, and I know this is where we want to talk about your certification process. So this is where I'm seeing the Madam CJ Walker, because you are thinking like generationally for this. This is the work. So can you tell us anything else that you have going on?
Yeah, well, I do want to say that August is Hair Loss Awareness Month. Okay. So I invited experts in the field of hair loss, in terms of a dermatologist and a master cosmetologist that specialize in working with Black women with hair loss. Okay. According to Dr. Yolanda Lindsay, who's a dermatologist, she found in 2019 that 47% of Black women will experience some form of hair loss in their lifetime. Wow. And so to really put that out there, that this is a pandemic, right? If we think about 50% basically of people experiencing
pretty much, yes.
Yeah, this if we label it explicitly alopecia, which is a medical term, right, for hair loss. So I always like to keep my events relevant to urgent matters. This is a urgent matter, and even scheduling it during this national month. but I have tons of programming. I might need some support around this. I'm always brainstorming, coming up with new ideas that are relevant. And sometimes people are shocked. Like, I didn't think that even connected to hair and mental health, but you'd be surprised by how hair can connect to economics, entertainment, education, labor,
Literally,
law, politics, sex, religion, war, and especially our health.
Yes.
So I try to have lots of relevant topics. But the major thing that I've been doing with psychotherapy is the certification process.
Okay.
So it is a 12-hour certification process that people can go through in order to make that connection between hair and mental health.
Okay.
So the ideal person to complete the certification is a hair care professional, a community organizer, a hair enthusiast, a business person, an educator, a therapist, and so
a person.
And so recognizing that it's therapeutic to go through the training, which is basically infusing hair history with mental health first aid techniques, how to become an active listener, which actually benefits everyone when they have better listening skills.
Most definitely.
So I've had like people who were photographers.
Oh, wow.
Become certified in psychotherapy because they're working with a lot of talent and models and wanted to be aware about hair, but just even how much they would learn and explicitly shared how much they learned from the experience. So it's very educational, but again, therapeutic to learn about mental health, because I don't know about you, I don't ever remember talking about mental health or feelings in school, like K through 12. Health class was more so don't get pregnant. That was like the extent of the curriculum.
That was a big one. As long as you didn't do that, keep going.
Yeah, I never learned anything about depression, anxiety, eating disorders, self-harm, like panic attacks.
Right.
Like, I never learned what to say when someone said they experienced a death or loss. Like, what are you supposed to do?
Yes, none of that. Yes. Right.
So that's where we really kind of pick up where our education's left off to make it more personalized and that's the certification.
I love it. And like you said, it's so relevant too. Very, very relevant. And then, like you said, the layers that you are like coming down and deconstructing for people, but to be able to bring it back together in a conversation, again, going back to how you listened and how many times we just haven't been listened to. So we just keep bumping along and not in the best way. So the certification process, did you come up with the certification process yourself?
I did come up with it myself in terms of, I actually went back to hair school after I had a PhD in clinical psychology. It was my choice. And so kind of going through both the training to become a psychologist and a hairstylist, I could even see how they related to each other and had gaps and holes. And so based on my teaching experience, creating curriculum that has relevance to a psychology major, but also going through the hair school process too.
Wow. So how many people have gone through the certification process? Like, how recent have you, gone through this process? It's so interesting to me.
Great question. I am building. So we have about 100 something people who completed
100 plus.
Because the class size is pretty small. I like to keep it 10 people or under. So that we actually get to practice the skills, because guess what? You are actually going to start doing some therapeutic skills in the training, and I will give you feedback and direction to actually process emotions and all of that. So it's very intimate.
So is it in person and virtual, or is it? Okay.
Great question. The first certification course was in person. I have not had in-person class since before the pandemic.
Makes
sense. Working my way up to it. I might be doing one this fall in person, but I just want to be cautious because COVID has not gone away. I don't want to cause anyone to be sick from doing a healing technique. So I'm still working on that part.
It's an oxymoron, right? Like that's not what you're trying to do.
No.
That makes sense. but the certification process program is not going anywhere. So if somebody watches this today, if they watch it 3 years from now, if they watch it 20 years from now, because everybody in the world will have known of psychotherapy. That's why you have been gifted and been knighted the Madam C.J. Walker medal. You're minted with her spirit. So yes.
Thank you for that. I receive it.
No, that's honestly, I just want to sit and honor you for that, because I know that there is a lot of work that you've placed into it. And even the way that you've articulated and explained it, I don't think, like Madam C.J. Walker, we know the complexity of everything that you had to go through. So I want to honor you for merging the two passions. And again, what she did, that's why I keep saying that for you. What I see is that you created an entire industry. You created that, like the gift that the creator placed inside of you, you created something else, and it's impacting people, and in a way that we really need, to have a space and an environment created. That's even what the channel is about, so that a healthy relationship can be in the skill form. We can learn about it, we can develop it, we can practice it, so that we can ultimately thrive. And we want our hair to thrive. We want it to pop, pop, pop. We want it to not only look good, but again, internally, we feel good about what's going on. So yes, I really want to honor you and thank you for the work and who you are, because who you are has informed your work. And then that's how we birth new things. So whatever support you need, we are going to make sure that I'm definitely going to make sure I'm going to commit to, okay, hair is very important to me, not only simply, like you said, because of hair, but it hits and it impacts so many other things in life. And for you to be able to give us language and to be able to give us a path to discuss and to empower others and teach others, that's leadership at its finest. So it's interesting that you are a leader in your industry for clinical psychology, but it's one thing that I don't know if I said it out loud to anybody, but I always have thought, or often have thought, that there's so much that we can learn about life through our hair, especially as Black people. I have a strand of my hair it's like this small, but when you pull it out, because there's so much elasticity to it, it's like, wow, there's more than meets the eye, just in one single strand. So I think that's what I'm grasping and I'm gleaning from what you're saying. There's so much more, and there's so much more in store. So for people who want to I'm going to have the certification information. Again, I'm going to make some different connections, because your message, and thank you for letting me know, you said it's National Hair Loss Awareness Month.
Yes.
Okay, so August is that month. Thank you for saying that. So hopefully we can get something going. And definitely, if you are able to attend the August 9th event, I will put a link for that in the bio as well, and the certification. What else do I need to make sure we have for you? We don't have a book yet, but Dr. Afiya is coming out with the book.
Yeah.
I don't know what else we're going to say that she's coming out with, but the certification process, I definitely will link the information, because when I went on there, I was just like, who did this? Who did this? Like, my life and my soul is blessed. But no, seriously, you putting language around this conversation, it really has historically not been the most easiest conversation. And it has been something that has been controlled, manipulated, and we have been lied to. So to expose the truth in a space and environment where people can heal, Black girl magic. So as a clinical psychologist and a natural hairstylist, we honor you today. We thank you for your work. We thank you for your leadership. So is there anything that you would like to leave viewers with, encourage, or just final words before we wrap up this interview?
I just want to encourage people to take the best care of themselves, to drink at least 8 cups of water a day,
Yes.
to have at least 4 to 5 servings of fruits and vegetables, to sleep at least 7 to 9 hours a night, to exercise at least 4 to 5 days a week, and just to manage your stress. And so all of that shows up in our hair and our mind. So I just really want to encourage those self-care practices as the most basic level, which can be hard, but to really emphasize to take care of yourselves.
So everybody, you heard it from Dr. Afiya, and I'm going to say it, Mbilishaka.
Got it. You speak Zulu.
She is an amazing, extraordinary young lady, woman, and a leader in the hair industry, clinical psychologist, PsychoHairapy. Check her out. So thank you very much for leaving us with those beautiful words. And again, as we practice healthy relationship skills with ourselves and others, please take her words to heart. And until the next time, I will see you later. Bye-bye. Thank you so much.